Hello, Brent Ellis with the Ellis Team at Keller Williams down here in sunny Southwest Florida. Got a September Southwest Florida real estate market update for you. First thing I'm going to share with you is this is the Ellis Team Current Market Index. So elevated positions mean that the market is more of a buyer's market. It wouldn't be good for prices. And you can see back in, let's see, what date was that? That was early 25. It was as high as it's been in a long time. So prices later in the year are going to come down because this is a leading indicator. Now the good news is this started to come down, bounce back up a little bit, down, and it's going back up a little bit, but this is going to affect prices down the road. These are still elevated from many other points, so this is not good for pricing, but at least it's getting a little bit better from what it was. So let's look at kind of what's going on. This is the total pending inventory, and you can see pendings are down this year compared to where they were in previous years, and the trend line is down. So that's not good for closings, and we'll look at closings here in a minute. This is our supply and demand graph. This is the inventory supply, and it's way up here, and it's come down a bit. It's come down from just less than 10,000 to right around 7,000. And then the pendings been holding fairly steady, down just a little bit. As you see back in 2022, for every listing that came on, we had a buyer, but that's not true anymore. The way I like to look at this is that's the gap. So I created a spreadsheet called, or a graph called the gap. And it's an easy way to see where things are going. It was coming down off the highs, but it's starting to trend back up again. And that phantom inventory we talked about that may come in October, where a lot of sellers may put their home on the market, we're going to keep our eye very much on this gap and see if that widens or not. Because that won't be good for prices if it does. But if buyers start coming out of the woodwork, that would help. But so far, we're not really seeing that. This is the weekly inventory level. So I track this every week from what I can from the MLS. And the 2 or 3 Tuesdays ago was the first time we saw inventory start creeping back up again. But it's been falling since its peak back about March or so. It's been falling since then, and now it's starting to go back up. So we'll keep our eye on that. This is the condo graph. It looks very similar. Everyone wants to know what are prices doing. So prices just came out yesterday, and the median home price was down 5.1% from last year, and the average home price was down 10.9% from last year. So these are median prices here. So you can see the general direction is down. And that current market index predicted that. It's been an accurate predictor through the decades. So that's why we use it. Nobody else has that current market index but the Ellis Team. We developed it. But it is predicting. It is still elevated, so we're going to have to keep an eye on things. This is a 12-month graph. Again, the median price 12 months ago was $390,000. It's $370,000 today. So the average price was $477,000. Or this right now it's about $477,000. Last year it was $535,000. So you can kind of see that there. This is the official listing inventory going back to 2016, and you saw the dip in the COVID years, and now it's gone up, and look where it is now. It is still elevated and higher than any point in time, except for this last year, but it's still high compared to all these years here. So we don't have the pending inventory, and we have more inventory with what we think is more shadow inventory coming. I'll talk more about that here in a second. This is our home close graph. Yellow is 2025. Where do we stand compared to 24? Well, we're just under 2024. We eclipsed it, from May to July, but we've been under it the whole year. And 2024 was not a stellar year for closing. So I think the way things are shaping up, we're going to be underneath that, unless we get a bunch of rate cuts out of nowhere and buyers just suddenly turn on. But we're not seeing that so far. The Fed lowered rates, but the mortgage market responded the other way because they didn't have confidence in what Chairman Powell said, that they're actually going to reduce rates. The other thing to keep in mind is banks charge what they call risk premium. It's a spread between the 10-year note and what mortgage rates are. It's usually about 1.7 to 2.1% spread. Right now, that spread is about 2.1. That's telling me that they are not confident that the Fed is actually going to reduce rates. If they had a confident direction of which way things are go, you would have the rate decrease plus you could eat into that spread. So there's about a 0.5% right there that could just come off interest rates, but it's not happening right now. Let's see what else you might want to know about here. These are sales prices kind of going back through 2021, even sooner. So if you bought a home in 2020, you're still good. You're up most likely over that because prices are up. You're just not up compared to where they were in 22, 23, and 24. And this graph will probably show that as well. We've got tons of graphs that we can share with you. We track pretty much everything under the sun. The Ellis Team at Keller Williams here in Southwest Florida, definitely your source, the real estate authority for stats and information, what's going on in the market. And we've got some other exciting news that's going to be coming up here pretty soon too. We might release that in the next couple of weeks or so. But it's definitely exciting. If you're thinking about selling your home in Fort Myers, Cape Coral, Bonita Springs, Estero, Florida, always call the Ellis Team at Keller Williams, 239-310-6500. Read our blog, which is blog.topagent.com, or go to swflhomevalues.com and get your home's value for free instantly, and you can track it over time. So that's a really cool thing. Thanks for tuning in.
The Ellis Team at Keller Williams is a family affair. Always call the Ellis Team, they'll handle you with care.